Hello, Lagos. Good afternoon. I'm Sandra Ezekwesili, and these are your hard facts.
Shaku Maku! Hot, humid, sweltering day, and I'm happy because we're running down to the end of another year.
Everyone, I are here every day to give you the best insights into today's most important topics. We bring them to you, we break them down, we give you the facts, and you can form an informed opinion. And any of last week's shows that you miss, you can still catch online. Go to Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter at Nigeria Info FM. In fact, we're streaming this conversation right now, so you can watch Aghogho and myself. He's wearing a very nice shirt.
Yes. Today I was at CMS, and I was looking at the giant billboard with several, and I saw Sandra, and I ducked like this because
our billboard is at CMS. Oh
yes,
my God!
At CMS, so you have all the keke and all the bosses and everybody just staring, and as I saw my face, I ducked because
you didn't want a mob to attack you. Oh my God!
So you can go to CMS and watch out for Sandra there.
Oh no, don't do that.
All the wonderful presenters on Nigeria Info.
Okay, so we've got a great show for you today. We're starting with the big three. One of our stories today will take us to 4 Points by Sheraton here in Victoria Island. There was an explosion there. We have our correspondent Ken on the field, and you can watch and see what we're seeing because Nigeria Info is visual radio. Buhari launches National Security Master Plan. Let's take a look at that story as well on the big three. And WAEC withdraws certificates from as far back as 1992 for impersonation. We'll share the names of those who have had their results withdrawn, so pay attention. Maybe you're one of them. On the glass ceiling today, we're looking at the role of entertainment, especially comedy, in normalizing and promoting rape culture. What's on the big hard fact?
Big hard fact, the news department's done something, the customs and car dealers, face-up is going on for some time, trying to understand exactly what is going on. So, unfortunately, we try to get in touch with the PRO of the Customs Service, who is very busy. He's got some finishing work to do, but they have a lot to answer because they've accused the car dealers of dodging payments that they should make, and the car dealers have also said customs don't have database, and so those payments they have made haven't been reflected, and they've had to make those payments over and over again. So
quite a conversation.
Big conversation.
Happening at 5 o'clock today, and at 6 the news will come your way. Afterwards, I beg to differ. Happens once a week now. May still also go away if somebody else buys that time, just like Rufai has done Mondays and Tuesdays, and Reti Bakari Yusuf has done every Thursday. But as usual throughout today's show, we're bringing you all the updates that are important to you from the worlds of news, sports, and entertainment. But let's get started with the big three.
This is the Big Three.
The Big Three.
On Hard Facts. On 99.3 Nigeria Info.
You know what to expect on the big three. Stories affecting you today. Stories everyone's talking about right now. How's the response to the Oniro explosion? We'll find out from Ken, who's going to be joining us any moment now. What are the big security problems that you want the president's master plan to address? And should WAEC be investigating past results for fraud? These are our stories. Let's get into them. There was an explosion this afternoon at the 4 Points Sheraton Hotel in Oniro, Victoria Island. We're getting reports that at least 3 people are confirmed injured and in the hospital. Lasema Boss was on the news with Godwin a few minutes ago, and we're also hearing that there's been damage to cars and property. We have a correspondent at the scene to give you the latest updates, and we're hoping that we'll be in touch with Ken any moment now.
Yeah, so Ken will be telling. In fact, we've got a crew. So Ijoma Esek is the conference center where the hotel authorities are trying to tell us exactly what happened, because there have been a number of theories why this explosion happened. There's one theory that says a borehole was being drilled and they hit a gas pipe and it exploded. There's another report saying at the yard where you have the welders work, they have had the gas breached and then the explosion happened. But nevertheless, if you're in that area, please do observe the traffic officers as they try to maintain calm along there, because a number of people can panic and begin to drive against traffic, and then the mayhem that usually happens when that goes on. Incidentally, Morning Crossfire have a discussion tomorrow on gas explosion and safety. And this just falls in line with it. And I was having a chat with the guys in digital. They're talking about the fact that many things concerning safety, especially in Lagos, and the pressure for land has meant compromise in several areas. So you could have, if this welding facility close to the hotel was going on and the gas pipeline was there, it's something for us to think about. But Ken is outside the hotel and he will be talking with us now.
Yes, Ken, hi, how are you? Hello, Ken? Hello? The line's not working. I guess we're going to have to try and get back in touch with Ken and find out what we need to. On my way into work, I drove through the scene of the crime. There was heavy police presence. There wasn't a crowd of civilians standing around, which was good. So we didn't have people obstructing emergency service providers or things like that. Traffic was actually moving very, very smoothly. Lots of policemen on the ground. Lots of I'm guessing hotel staff as well on the ground trying to figure out what was going on. I saw a few cars with their windows shattered, with the glasses, the back window glass or window pane shattered. So it would be nice to find out from Ken what the official information about what caused the explosion is, and of course what's happening with the people who the Lasema boss said were rushed to the general hospital.
Yeah, because that sort of thing, you're probably looking at burns from what sort of injuries they would have sustained is what comes to mind. And as we move towards Christmas, we start usually in Lagos start to get a lot of this sort of incidents, fires, and all of this sort of things and happening. So I guess we'll ramp up the awareness on what to do
in these situations. Ken, hi.
Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Tell us what's happening there right now.
Okay, the incident started, or the incident happened at around some minutes after. Some minutes after 1. Apparently, there is an ongoing, not major going on here in the vicinity of 4 Point, as you can see behind me. So what happened was there was a minor gas leak with the amount of welders. It led to an explosion, and lots of cars, vehicles become really. And I must say the emergency personnel are really fast. I'm talking to you now. The Lasema guys are here. The men of LASMA are also here to control and deal with the traffic issue that this incident may cause. But as I'm talking to you right now, the traffic is flowing really well. And another major point is the fact that there is this bit of a brawl between some of the customers here whose cars were affected and the management of 4 Point. Apparently, there is a bit of customers who patronize the hotel. Yeah, exactly. Okay. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Some of the guests.
What happened between them and the hotel?
Yeah, they had a bit of a brawl with the hotel management as to when are they going to get their cars fixed. Are they expecting new cars and all that? So the management wasn't really fast in dealing or responding to their questions. And I must say, the media houses here were not given any opportunity to get any information. They barricaded the whole place. They don't want anybody to get in. And apparently, the camera was taken from me, and I had a bit of argument with some of the security agencies, the security personnel who saw me videoing, taking snapshots. I think they just don't want. The one owned by the hotel. They deleted my pictures, my videos. Everything.
We're currently seeing what's happening behind you. Are there any vehicles that you can see right now so that we can see some of the damage?
Okay, I don't know. You have to walk with me. Let me take you down there. All right.
3. That's where you can see what we're currently seeing. I'm seeing behind Ken lots of men in official uniforms. What's that? Is that LASMA? I think that's LASMA, right?
Yeah.
Ken, is that LASMA?
Yeah, that's last month.
Okay. So, is there any word from the hotel management about whether or not there'll be compensation for the damaged cars?
Sincerely, for now, no major statement from the hotel management. I think everything is just shrouded in mystery for now. They are trying to do more like a damage control, the whole incident. So there's no concrete information from the hotel management. Yeah, everybody is just here. All the media firms are just here waiting to see if we'll get any major response from them.
My goodness, that's a lot of damage.
Also, something, Ken. The yard where this explosion happened, is it cordoned off? Do you have investigators there trying to find out what happened there?
I'm really sorry I didn't mention that. They are men of the Lagos Emergency Management Agency, LASEMA, and some of their top forensic guys are here to checkmate as to what led to this and how it happened. So emergency vehicles are behind me. I can't get you that shot because the security men don't want anybody to gain access into the compound. But I was able to get a sneak as to the security agencies there. I think they are basically taking stock of what actually happened, the amount of casualties that were involved in the whole incident.
Damage. Vehicles have been damaged. Numbers of vehicles. You have an idea? Was the building affected in any way from the explosion?
Okay, Mr. Aghogho, let me paint a picture for you right now. Okay, 4 Point is a hotel, actually a very big hotel on the island, and the parking space is a bit how do I put it now? It's really tight. So yeah, really small, and the explosion kind of happened by the side. So there were lots of vehicles around there. It was so much that it affected even vehicles that were parked outside the compound. And some of the glasses of the hotel were affected by the explosion.
Okay. But also updated on the traffic. Sandra said when she went past, it was free moving.
Yeah, he mentioned earlier.
Yes. So you have traffic officials, prevent. Well, first and foremost, the entrance into the hotel, is it cordoned off? Do you still have vehicles moving around the hotel?
No, customers or guests rather coming into the hotel, they are advised to park their cars outside and walk in. I think the idea is to make sure that pressmen or media men don't sneak in any of the cars and come in. I think, I don't know. But as per the traffic is flowing really well. The Nigerian police force, men of the Nigerian police force are on ground. As you can see, vehicles are moving freely behind me. And men of the Lagos State Traffic Management Agency, LASMA, they are also here.
For this update, we're going to get in touch with IJ, who's in the building, I understand, so that she will give us some more information. Ken, thank you for your time.
All right, thank you.
Okay, our second story on the Big Three is coming your way, as well as that connection with Ezekwesili, who's currently on the scene of that explosion that happened here in Victoria Island, happened at Oniru. You're listening to the Big Three on Hard Facts. I'm Sandra Ezekwesili.
99.3 Nigeria Info. This is the Big Three.
The Big Three. On Hard Facts.
On 99.3 Nigeria Info.
All right, Lagos, on the Big Three today, we've brought you that explosion that happened at the 4 Points by Sheraton in Victoria Island. We will also bring to you our second story. Buhari launches National Security Master Plan. President Buhari has just commissioned the 2019 National Security Strategy to tackle security challenges in the country. The event took place at the council chambers of the State House, Abuja. Buhari said the main goal of the document is the achievement of a safer and more secure nation. He explained that the new roadmap was a product of elaborate discussions between all security organs and ministries, departments, and agencies of the government. The strategy is said to take a comprehensive approach and to explore how agencies will collaborate to guarantee security for the country. Really big words that we're going to get back to as soon as we're done talking with Ijoma Sek. Ijoma, hello.
Hello, Sandra. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. So where are you exactly, Ijoma?
Okay, in 4 Points by Sheraton, as I speak with you, and the customers are really making me trouble with the owners of the hotel.
Help us get into what exactly is the because Ken hinted on this one. What's the problem, and has there been any solution to the quarrel?
For now, there hasn't been any solution as far as I'm concerned, because members of the staff in the hotel are not giving people whose vehicles have been damaged. They are not giving them a breathing space. They are not allowing them to express themselves. They are trying as much as possible to ensure that everyone shuts their mouth and don't say anything about what has happened, which is quite unfair. Journalists were prevented from going in initially, and cameras were seized. And speaking to them, I tried as much as possible to ensure that the management staff briefed us on what has happened here today. But at the end of it all, they released a statement saying that the incident occurred at 12:30 p.m. today. And it has to do with a contractor's site at that was trying to dig out some part of the facility.
Okay.
This whole thing, as far as I'm concerned, they are not handling it well. If they can handle it well, it will go a long way.
Sorry, Juma. Does the press statement say, for example, that a help desk has been created, saying anyone who's been affected, please submit your name or your vehicle?
They did not. No. The press statement that I have with me talk about, the explosion resulted and 3 persons were injured. But according to reports that I have there, more than 3 persons were injured, including a foreigner. And they did not say if they are going to bear liability for what has happened. Medical personnel were here from Lagos State government. They've not really talked about what they are going to do to ensure that, the people whose vehicle was damaged would be settled. And I've counted so far, almost 20 vehicles here, including the truck that they were using to drill whatever it is that caused the explosion. The explosion went as far as miles away from the exact spot. And when I spoke to the Latema boss, Osayintolu, he told me that he accompanied some of the victims to the hospital, and he's going to give us further details on what is going on. But according to eyewitnesses, they said the damages that were done was really much, and immediately they found out that, press guys were here. They quickly started sweeping and ensuring that the place is clean. But I can tell you that most of the places that was affected has been cordoned off, and glasses in the hotel, a lot of them were shattered.
Okay.
Ijoma, this is quite the thing that is going on. How about guests who are lodged in the hotel themselves? Are they still there? Are they miling about in the hotel premises? Are they at the reception? Are they in their rooms? What's happening with that?
Initially, a lot of the guests that were around were downstairs trying to know what really happened. And after they were being spoken to by some of the management, they had to go back inside. then I can tell you that most of the people whose vehicles were damaged are people that probably came in to do meetings or some. Or I don't think they are guests.
Okay. All right, IJ, we'll keep our eye on that story. And the more you know, the more we will know. Ijemesek is our correspondent. Thank you so much for bringing that to our attention. But back to Muhammadu Buhari and his security strategy for 2019, Aghogho.
Yeah, so big talking point. This is supposed to be a 5-year reworking of the original document which was put forward in 2014. And I remember some months ago when the National Security Advisor Babagana Mungunu had been asked by journalists what he thought was the major difference, well, in terms of the government's national security strategy, and he said, this is going to focus on the people as some sort of soft approach.
Because the first one was during the Boko Haram insurgency.
Yes, this will focus more on the social, the soft issues in terms of dealing with security, which include things like corruption, poverty, unemployment, which a lot of people have argued many times is the real crux of the matter. If you deal with these issues, then most of the security problems will go, because there's a serious correlation between that. But what we wait to see is the breaking down of this strategy in those terms, how it's going to address poverty, how it's going to address poor health, maternal death, and child mortality, and all of those soft issues, soft security issues, and how eventually that will go. Because many times people have argued when we have this sort of broad strategy, if it's in foreign affairs, for example, and they say, we're going to focus on Nigeria first, and what is it for us, rather than a broad sense. But many times people have come back to ask the question, so how has this benefited Nigeria in any way? Which was the precursor, for example, in the ECOWAS argument. I remember back then, people had said, what is our benefit with ECOWAS back then? And did not realize that Nigeria was right at the fulcrum of what ECOWAS stood for. So the same question with national security, which oftentimes is vague in the way people will define what is national security and how it affects the common man on the street.
Because we've been working with this document for the past 5 years, over 5 years. We've had this national strategy, and the question has to be, was it working? Were Nigerians made safer by the existence of the document? Remember, of course, that apart from insurgency, we've had other serious security problems recently, like herder-farmer clashes and banditry and kidnapping. Yeah. And while all of this was going on, there was a national security strategy. Yeah. So the question needs to be asked, was the problem that the strategy document was not good enough to address these problems? Or was it a question of implementation, where the security agencies not living up to the requirements of the strategy? And if that was the case, why will it be different with this new strategy? Because it's the same one, but it's been changed for the Buhari administration. So it's up to you to answer those questions for us. Do you think a new national strategy is needed? The last strategy was created in 2014, over the last 5 years. Have we gotten more or less secure in the last 5 years? 01277 0993, 01277 1993, 01277 2993. And 012773993. Facebook, of course, is at Nigeria Info 99.3. Our final story on the Big Three: the West African Examinations Council, WAEC, has released names of candidates whose certificates it has withdrawn due to impersonation. Some of the affected results are from as far back as 1992. WAEC released the names through a bulletin of the Joint Admissions and Matriculations Board, JAMB. And in a rejoinder to the list, JAMB has said that impersonation is a big problem with exams, and that this was why it was making registration for National Identification Number NIN a requirement for sitting the exam. JAMB conducted a trial of the registration system over the past week. There's a lot happening here, Aghogho.
First and foremost, I went through that list. By any accident, my name doesn't appear there.
Was it there?
I leave that to the Marine. But, I listened to Sister Station, Wazobia, earlier in the day, and this came up during Cheche and Chiboy's chat. And I was curious to want to hear what the callers had to say. And everyone did have sympathy for whoever's name was on the list, saying that going forward, we can say, yes, this is what we want to do.
But no need to go back,
But going back, which many people have also questioned, what was the modality they deployed in finding out someone, for example, who impersonated in the year 1992? When Demi wrote the exams, there was nothing digital about it. It was all with pen and
That's
paper.
the thing.
And you didn't even have picture cards or picture ID
so
cards.
how exactly did they discover impersonation
Yes.
27 years ago?
Anyone whose name is there has a good case in taking them up, saying, how on earth did you arrive at this?
How can you prove it?
How can you prove this?
Let's talk to Bolaji. Bolaji is in Moe Bafo. Hello, Bolaji. Welcome.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thanks for calling us for the first time.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
You're welcome.
Uh-huh.
All right, yeah, I just want to talk about the explosion. Just something real quick.
Yes. You don't think they should have stopped journalists, huh?
You said what?
You don't think they should have stopped journalists, right?
No, you don't stop journalists at all. It's very wrong. It's something that the government needs to look into. If we can send journalists outside the country and they are not touched and they are not harassed and violated, why within the country? They need disciplinary action concerning this. You don't stop the press. That is one of the things I want to say. Another thing I want to say is that we are technologically backward. I don't know why the security agencies, Namasa and what have you, and other people, I don't know why they can't fly drones. I don't know. Maybe we are not there yet. Once something happens, there's an accident, you should be able to fly drones. First, to get good information, first-hand information, before you get there, or before people start stopping you. I don't know.
Yeah. Overall, the national safety strategy, even for Lagos State, has to be worked. I mean, if corporate communications in that hotel, for example, had done a drill saying, if so and so happened, what will our response be? We will say, help desk set up. Anyone who has got any complaints, wants any inquiry, go to the help desk and you get all this information there. You know, the areas that were affected, unfortunately, by Boko Haram in the 2010 were able to arrive at those sort of things. Go ahead, sorry, and wrap up, please.
The line is actually breaking.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know some media houses that do what's it called, eyewitness, whatever. You get you should have a platform where people can instantly send videos to, and all these things. Then you don't come back and tell us you didn't see what happened, or you didn't. It's not at least in 5 minutes. People, there were eyewitnesses there that will have taken their phones and recorded things. You get, they will have recorded their platform to go, government platforms and just record things so that people won't come tomorrow and come and lay claims that are not, or people will just go scot-free.
Absolutely.
Thanks for calling.
I don't know. Thank you very much.
Bolaji, make sure you call us again. Christopher is the last call, and then we'll get back to that WAEC story. Hello, Christopher. Unfortunately, that line isn't working. Christopher, you have to call us back. You know, Aghogho was saying that for somebody who was picked out 27 years ago, that person could make a case with WAEC and say, how you take prove am. I mean, previously, JAMB has said that they could detect impersonation over the last 10 years by cross-checking fingerprints because registration was now biometrics based.
Right.
But I don't think there were biometrics for WAEC in 1992. I don't know. Those of you who took the exam back then. Okay, Boomer.
No.
Let us know.
Well, we did the fingerprints on the.
No, actually, it's Gen Xer, not Boomer. You're a Gen Xer, not a Boomer.
What to be Gen Xer and Boomer?
Exactly. That's why you don't know what it is.
I'm neither of them. So you put the fingerprint on the paper, except they're saying that they went and got all those the physical copies of those prints to detect them, but. I'm still.
So did they have your
phased.
original print and the impersonator's print? How did they do it exactly?
Like, that's what it meant, and they would have had to work in collaboration with JAM. Say, for example, this person got this result, and then this person went into the university. And university, his fingerprint is different
Does not
from
match the WAEC
registration from the WAEC.
But even away from that, I remember when we talked about JAM or WAEC checking past results for malpractice, and people called this show to say that JAM was being wicked and JAM should leave people alone, just like they did on Cheche's show earlier today.
Yes.
So, and I asked the question at that time, should a politician who stole in the past not be arrested if he's caught today? What's the difference?
Big question. And also, I don't have the answer to that question.
What's the difference?
So a big problem I'm also looking at, which is in connection with the story on the big three, which the car dealers, for example, don't have confidence with the state authority with respect to the authenticity of the data being kept? How valid is the data being kept? Because data at the different spheres of management, across board, oftentimes has allegedly been compromised. So people say, even the police, if you go and you caught the first time at Obalende police station and you recorded first offender, next week you go to Oshodi and you commit another offense, they record you again also as first offender
because no records.
Because there's no record, So, and that's supposed to be the people whose job it is
that's
to
the
ensure.
Big question. Is it wrong for JAM and WAEC to check past records for malpractice? How is this different from probing a former government official? What do you think JAM and WAEC need to do to stamp out malpractice, especially impersonation? Don't worry, if we don't have time to get into all the calls that are going to come in, we will take this on I Beg to Differ as well. I Beg to Differ happens immediately after the news at 6:15, and this is the topic for I Beg to Differ. Is it wrong for JAM and WAEC to check past records for malpractice, especially impersonation? Hello.
Yeah, President Sandra, you said the line was bad, right?
Yes, it was. Welcome back, Christopher.
I'm now happy I got you. Chief Oboh.
I throw a salute.
Ishakumaku.
Makushi.
Yeah, Chief Oboh, 2014, where the president was coming in, they made a lot of this thing about security, right?
Right.
But for me, if not that we are taking sight in this country, I don't think they did well in terms of security. Look at what happened in Ondo the other day. How many hectares of rice farm that these headers go there with their whatever to destroy the place. January this year, one of the APC chieftain, I speak with the guy. See, in terms of security, can you people do something? He said, no, that's what they will do first. Especially about the chiefs, the security chief, right? Say they will do something about it. But good thing, the president just did something in Kaduna the other day to see what they can do and stop this thing.
Well, it does appear they're beginning to think that security should have a soft approach rather than hardcore.
I'm telling you.
Deal with poverty, deal with corruption, deal with poor health care, deal with no education, then you probably
please,
start to deal
let
with the
them
problem.
do something, please. At least the first 4 years, they use it to, settle themselves and play some politics. You belong to I don't belong to. But this one now, let them work for Nigerians, please. I'm begging them.
All right, Christopher, thanks for calling. We've got comments on Facebook, Aghogho.
Yeah, we got a lot of comments. People, many of them just hearing about this explosion that happened at Lekki, saying that, at Oniru, the 4-point hotel, saying that one says, I'm just watching this. I mean, when did it take place? It took place today.
1 p.m.
Our crew reported live there. So a lot of people, we need more updates on the explosion at Sheraton. We'll give you updates, all the way till 6 p.m.
That's right.
As it happens. We've got a crew hanging on there. Someone from Onitsha, Joseph Oka, says, I'm watching in far away Onitsha. Hello. 1992 WAEC results, not nice. Adeleye Adesayo. I beg, make I go check the list, though, says Joseph Oka Uwa.
Did someone write for you, Joseph?
Adeleye Adesayo again says, some of those from 1992 would have obtained their masters at least. So what's going to happen to their certificates? Will they do the starting all over?
Good question.
No, but
good question.
Guess it's as good as mine.
Will they start all over? Good question. I mean, if the foundation no set, kakaraka,
you can't build nothing or nothing.
What's it gonna happen?
Wahala.
My goodness.
It's a nightmare situation. It's a fate worse than death. But I know you. I do hope your name is not on that list.
Well, we're going to get that list and we're going to share it with you at 6:15 immediately after the news. When I Beg to Differ comes your way, where we're going to have a robust conversation about this particular matter. You're listening to Hard Facts. Up next, let's talk about entertainment and the role it plays with encouraging rape culture. The world is continuing to mark 16 days of activism, and today is day 10. I'm going to have, amongst others, Chi Girl on the show. She's an entertainer, and we'll talk about how that particular industry plays a role with encouraging rape culture. So don't go away.
Hard Facts will be right back.